Elders Climate Action. Gotta got it. Uh, I, both David and I got involved with Elders Climate Action through Elders Action Network, which is the umbrella organization that ECA is under. And we were introduced to them at a workshop we went to at Capallo, I think it was in New York, on aging gracefully, something like that, the wisdom years. And I was preparing for retirement. I'm a clinical social worker, psychotherapist, and decided that I needed to hang up my shingle when I turned 75, um, which is 4 years ago. I'm 79 now, and proud to be an elder. And I hear some people say, I don't want to join Elders Climate Action because of the word elder. And I'm going, what? This is a time of wisdom and experience and um, time, extra time, to do something important with our lives. So I'm very proud of being an elder at this point in time, actually. And I knew that post retirement, I wanted to continue to really lead a life of purpose, and have been um, always involved in volunteer organizations. I'm a member of Nova Catholic Community, and we have maybe 32 peace and justice, social justice projects and whatever. So this is very important to me. But the environment really came to the top of the list, both because my children are very active in it, and because the more I read, the more I learned, the more I understood that it is the largest existential threat that we have right now. That you know, I marched against gun violence the other day and Memorial Day, and this is important, but before we get rid of the guns, we're going to have air that we can't breathe and water we can't drink, and children who are sick with asthma and all kinds of other problems. And this is happening right now, as predicted. Um, we knew that if we did not reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 2020, we were going to start to be in trouble. So we do. We have our flooding and our wildfires and our um, mass migrations and all kinds of problems that even if we stopped, um, even if tomorrow we changed all the regulations and whatever, we will still be dealing with for the decades to come. So uh, this is not only urgent, it's an emergency, um, and we need all hands on deck. So what can elders do about that? And what we've understood in the climate activist movement is that you just have to join together with other people. Nobody can do this alone. We need uh, thousands of people committed to this. So, Elders Climate Action is one of many environmental organizations, but it specifically is targeted for people who are 60 plus and who want to lend their particular um, wisdom and experience to the problem. I'm going to share my screen so I can tell you a little bit about. Oh, see, it's gone again. I don't know how to keep my slides um, on the board. I just put them on, and they're gone. So give me a second here, and let's see if I can bring them up again. Here they are. Are you able to see that?
I can, but we can see a lot of the rest of your screen as well. It's not full
Yeah.
screen.
Let me see if I can get full screen. Huh. Wish I understood more about.
This is Pax. You may be in preview of that, where you see the document just above your slide there. Try double clicking that and seeing if you can open it up on its own.
How's that?
I can see it's doing something.
Wow.
Thank you. On my screen, I'm getting most of it with the. Are you able to see?
It hasn't changed. We're seeing it, but we're seeing, list of files and stuff on the left side.
Oh, huh. Protected view.
Instead of double clicking on the little gray square,
Yeah.
click on it once. There should be a pull down menu.
Yeah, the little down arrow.
Right. There we go.
Open.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, well.
Oh, well.
So the screen is that while we see information on the left, the screen is large enough that we can see your slide fairly clearly. So if you can't change it, you continue.
All right. Let me continue then. If you can see it enough that I can go with it a little bit, and mainly I want to be able to talk with you. So just want to tell you a little bit about ECA. Founded in 2015, and overall mission is to preserve our planet for the grandchildren and all of life. And there's a big emphasis in ECA about talking about our grandchildren. And of course, we don't all have grandchildren, but we know the idea. So we want to make sure that our legacy is that the earth goes on. And so there are about 16,000 members of Elders Climate Action throughout the United States. This picture was taken at a hotel where we had a conference a couple of years ago. This is my husband, David, and and
I don't think we're seeing what you're seeing. All I'm seeing is your initial title slide.
oh, huh. So you're not seeing what I'm seeing.
No.
Okay.
If you click on that down arrow, one of your options was save the attachment or download it.
I think the problem is that she's sharing the wrong screen. She should unshare and then just share the PowerPoint screen. Right now, she's sharing her Outlook.
Yeah. Can you maybe try that? Gloria, did you hear that?
I did, and I'm trying again. Let's see if that works. Gee, I even practiced.
Much better.
Much better?
Yep.
Okay. You know, part of being an elder is figuring out all this computer stuff here, right? I'm not giving up, though.
Now you just need to go to the slideshow command there on the top menu and run the show, because you're in more of the viewing the raw material mode.
Oh, okay. And where is that?
The
Look
top
along,
says slideshow on the gray bar.
Yeah.
There you go. And then on the left there, say from current slide, the upper left.
Upper left.
Up, if you click slideshow,
Yeah.
and then at the left, it says from the beginning or from the current slide.
Oh.
There you go.
And how do I move it?
You should be able to like click up or down arrows on your keyboard.
Oh, the keyboard. Okay. Are we all learning about how to do this? Wow, all right.
There you go.
Excellent. Okay. All right. Is that better? So the mission is dedication to using the power of our caring, our wisdom, and our numbers to push for strong policies to reduce greenhouse gases in our atmosphere to a level consistent with life thriving on our planet. And the more we learn about environmental issues, the more we're understanding that everything is intersected and intertwined with everything else. So environmental justice is now very important about those people who are unequally at risk, generally the poor, third world countries, etc. So the mission kind of keeps expanding. And the push is to realize how powerful we are as elders. There are 80 million elders now in the United States, growing all the time. And most of them vote. We're the largest voting bloc in the United States. And voting is absolutely critical to choosing people who will legislate, because this has to be done on a national basis. We can do state by state, we can do local by local, and we work on all those areas. But we've got to make a national push for um, getting off of fossil fuels and developing alternative energies, among other things. And the way the organization works is really from the bottom up. Everyone is included, everyone's voice is encouraged. Um, we are pretty much all volunteer. We have one staff person, and now we're getting a half more and an intern. So that helps on a national basis. Um, but it's really volunteers that make this go. And we work very hard, as does A and B, I think, on building relationships among ourselves and getting to know one another and kind of working hand in hand and encouraging leadership development and empowering members. Um, we want to be always learning. There's so much to learn about this problem. So there's a lot of education going on, most of it on Zoom at this point in time, and a lot of collaboration together. Each chapter, which is a usually statewide chapter or region-wide chapter, has leaders. I'll talk about that in a minute, and the leaders all meet in a chapter leaders national meeting each month. So there's a lot of collaboration going on. We're nonpartisan. We're 501(c), so we do not lobby for particular bills or for particular candidates. But we do ask people to vote and point out whose record is showing strong background in environmental issues. So there's a lot of education about that. And we're partnered now with more than 70 climate related organizations. And again, it's just joining hands, helping each other, backing each other up. You know, we work with in this area a lot with Mom's Clean Air Force, which is fun to work with the kind of the younger folks and their children on environmental issues. And this is the overview of Elders Action Network, which has a lot of work on climate action, on social justice, and now there's a new whole democracy, saving democracy wing of Elders Action Network, as well as education, book groups, all the normal stuff that you think about. And this all happens on Zoom, so you can do it from the comfort of your home. Uh, and this just says what we cannot do uh, uh, as an organization. That's a bad picture of me, but getting ready for a march that we did. Individually, of course, you can write to anybody and everybody, and we do. And that a lot of thought was given in 2020 to the vision of the organization, and um, was based on the vision for equitable climate action, which was developed at that time nationally. There's a United States Climate Action Network, which tries to bring together all the environmental organizations to be pointing in the same direction and making sure that we're paying attention to agriculture and transportation and healthcare and the whole gamut of things that are affected and are affecting um, climate problems. So again, that's just looking at all the different things that we pay attention to. Um, and it is a little overwhelming. So that's one reason why chapters are formed, to kind of break it down a little bit and decide what each group is going to uh, work on. And there's a strong commitment to environmental justice and to anti-racism, understanding that anytime there's exclusion um, and inequity, uh, it is going to be threatening the society and um, the environmental um, fallout from that is definitely going to be felt. Every month there's a national call, which is features a national expert on environmental issues. It's on the fourth Tuesday of the month at 7 in the evening, and there's also lots of workshops and lots of good stuff on the ECA website, and it's eldersclimateaction.org, and I'll say that 5 more times so you got it. And this is just some of what they're doing. The Climate Activist Toolkit, kind of showing you how to become more effective in whatever action you're taking, how to affect climate policy, um, and how to work together in an effective way. Right now in the Virginia chapter, actually throughout the country, we're really pushing a new app on your iPhone called Climate Action Now, that sends you links to how actions you can take, emails you can send, letters you can send digitally, and the recommendation is to make five calls a day, or emails or whatever. I do it while I'm eating my cereal in the morning. It takes me about 2 minutes, and it's such a good feeling to kind of start off the day by saying to the corporations, to national legislators, to state legislators, to my local legislator, this is a problem, do something about it. The legislators have been very clear with us that they have to have mass interest. They have to hear from their constituents by the tens of thousands before they can push on any particular legislation. And that's how they decide what they're going to, spend the most time on. So You might think, well, other people are doing this, but you are needed. So these are some local action teams that we've joined with the Unitarian Universalists, with Breathe Again, among healthy air, different things that elders promote the vote. They have been able to determine that there's a number of voters who have expressed an interest and a commitment to environmental issues who are just not voting. So there's every election there's a big push to email them or text them and just ask them to please go vote. It's making a difference. And these are some more of the organizations that ECA works with. And this is about chapters. And it's in every state or region, they're trying to establish a chapter of Elders Climate Action. And right now, I believe there are something like 18 chapters. And Virginia got started, as Larry mentioned. Excuse me. Last year, we started meeting and then made application to become a chapter, and were approved in December. We have 4 co-leaders of it. I'm kind of the coordinator of the co-leaders, and we then develop action teams. We meet once a month on Thursdays at 4, and the first Thursday of the month, and then we develop action teams that are going to work on advocacy or education or communication, this kind of thing. And here's the list of current ECA chapters. So we host local regional gatherings, town hall meetings. We're just getting started in Virginia. We can use all the help we got. If you're interested in joining us, would be wonderful. We're building a movement at the local, state, and the national levels. And together we feel like we're going to make our voices heard and hopefully have fun and make some new friends in the interim. And there is a coordinating council on a national level who makes the overall policy, and all of those teams could use some help too. So these are ways that you can help for your grandchildren, future generations in all life, to be part of ECA Virginia, sending letters to elected leaders, be able to contribute whatever skill you have. We need writers, we need talkers, we need people who want to help with getting out the vote, everything. And ECA could also use some money. It's a shoestring organization. They are applying for grants, and I guess they have gotten a couple of them, which makes it possible to have a staff person and whatever. But we can use all the help we got. So there's the website, www.eldersclimateaction.org. Or if you want information, info@Elders Climate Action. And then if you want to join the chapter, there's a button on the main website that says about joining chapters or finding out about chapters, and you just go to Virginia and join us and vote. Please, the #1 thing you can do. And vote consistently. All right, that's more of the we're just Virginia is just developing our website right now and a Facebook and all that kind of stuff. I tell you, we got to learn this stuff. Together we can take action for climate change. So, let me read this to you at the end because this kind of keeps all of us going. It's 3:23 in the morning and I'm awake because my great-great-grandchildren won't let me sleep. My great-great-grandchildren ask me in dreams, what did you do while the planet was plundered? What did you do when the earth was unraveling? Surely you did something when the seasons started failing, and the mammals, the reptiles, and the birds were all dying. Did you fill the streets with protests when democracy was stolen? What did you do once you knew? All right. So is somebody going to moderate the questions or?
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on the chat box and as questions come in.
Okay, or just reactions. I would love to hear from anybody. Just unmute yourself and let's talk.
One question I had was, you said the various chapters kind of chose what they were going to focus on. What's the Virginia chapter's primary focus?
Well, in this first year of our organization, we have a lot of focus on just getting ourselves organized and getting the word out that we're here. And I mean, that's one reason why I was happy to talk today. And I was out of Green Spring a couple of weeks ago talking to them, and to let people know about Elders Climate Action and our advocacy legislative groups. Larry's part of that, and they're working on some Arlington issues, as well as while Virginia Senate or Virginia legislation was in in what's the word I'm looking for? Do you love this word stuff? Session. Sending them a lot of messages about us, what we were supporting. So we're in an organization time right now, and that's what we're focused on, getting the word out.
Could I comment that our chapter, we have 3 small teams working on different pieces. I'm one of the ones that's looking at legislative issues. My wife is on one that looks at more, what can we do individually? And they're kind of trying to compile information to make it available. Because for all of this, some of the times you kind of say, well, what can I do? And so part of this saying, what are the things that you can do just in your own life? Some small, some big, but the idea of, recycling issues and kind of actions in daily living that reduce your carbon footprint, if you will. And I forget the third committee that we have.
It's outreach, yeah.
Outreach and the legislative one, for example, there is legislation at the national level right now, something that Jerry Conley proposed, and it has, I don't know, over 100 co-sponsors at this point. But the post office was looking at building a new, purchasing a new fleet of vehicles. And the Postmaster General put out a contract to do this with all gas burning vehicles. And so he has proposed legislation that would require that the purchase of new vehicles for the post office, that at least 3/4 of those had to be electric vehicles. That's still bubbling around in the Congress. But that's a kind of thing where we've kind of within our chapter talked to people about promoting that to our own legislators and to write to people on the committees where that sits right now. I don't know that right offhand, but those are the kinds of issues that we've tried to take up. So if you're interested in participating in that type of thing, you're most welcome to join the chapter and join one of our committees that are working on issues.
I've got a comment here. It seems to me that you're a prisoner of your 501c3 status that prevents you from advocating for specific legislation. which seems to me to be the most effective way to effect climate policy. How can you get around that problem?
Yeah, and that's true for every 501c3 organization. You do get, our churches are all, under those regulations too. Even though you feel very strongly that this bill is the one that should pass. So anybody can speak for themselves. So we encourage all members to speak for themselves and contact their legislator and show them how and what they should say. And that's what the Climate Action Now app does. It's already got a prepared script. You put in your personal first sentence and it's all in there for you, and you just send it off and it's fine. You just can't say, this is coming from Gloria Mogg, Elders Climate Action, you know. So I think we can be quite effective. And we can certainly say we are an environmental organization that supports, getting off of fossil fuels as quickly as possible, and et cetera, et cetera.
Next question is, first off, thanks for a great presentation. As an Arlington Regional Master Naturalist, how do you see us working with your organization?
Oh, that would be wonderful. Yes. In fact, we're talking about putting together a picnic gathering in the summer, and to have a naturalist there who could take us on a walk, and connect us with the environment in a park, whatever. It would just be wonderful. It would just add to the depth of it. And, that's just the first thing that pops in my mind. But, you know, they say that one of the biggest reasons why there's not more activism around the climate is that people are very much out of touch with nature, and they're spending all their time inside, and because the air is getting worse, and there's more difficulties and crime and all that kind of stuff. People are scared to go out, so they don't realize the wonderment of nature, and the naturalists, I think, are such a great help in showing us the way on that.
Great, thank you.
So it sounds like what you're suggesting is our master naturalists here should just contact your organization and say, hey, here we are. What do you want to do together?
Yes, I am Gloria Mogg at Verizon.net. So glad to connect with, very glad to connect with you.
Okay, the next comment is the county is pushing for higher density with the missing middle initiatives and all this kind of thing. And that would seem to have a negative impact on tree canopy and other green space, which seems anti-climate change. Do you guys have a stance on that?
We don't have a stance on it, but Arlington, along with the rest of the world, the rest of the country, actually, in urban areas, has a huge housing problem, as you know, that we do not have affordable housing anymore anywhere. We do have a lot of wonderful new regulations about new buildings, in terms of them being much more environmentally friendly, and this middle housing, missing middle housing thing will eventually, well, all the new building, of course, will be much more environmentally friendly. And I know they measured the tree canopies, and they measured the, parking and all that kind of stuff. So there's a tremendous amount of thought that's gone into this. We have to do something. We're pricing ourselves out of, it's just the wealthy that can live here, and the blacks have to live in the black area, and the whites in the white. This is crazy. We can't keep this up. That's my personal opinion. I'm not speaking for ECA.
Is ECA doing anything to promote things like green roofs and other building initiatives that will reduce the impact of buildings on the climate?
I don't know if you want to speak to that, Larry. The advocacy committee is meeting with some members of the council to try to get a good grip on what the county's plan is. I know we're pushing hard for them to actually staff a high-level sustainability director. Larry, you want to say more about that?
Right, yeah, well, again, this is an issue of voicing concerns and suggestions, if you will, by ECA chapter is one thing, but on an individual basis, there's a couple of us on the legislative committee that we've had one meeting, we're looking at doing another with a member of the county board, but it's trying to talk about how we can support more of these issues. I have to say, it's very complex. You raised the point, Gary, about like green roofs and that kind of thing. That's just one of so many different elements. Same way with the issue of, I know that in the studies regarding the missing middle, they've talked about the tree canopy and the commitment from the county in terms of increasing that. But I can't say that I have the answers to that, but I know that continuing to send information to our elected representatives, whether that's a county board or those are state legislators, but the issue of being aware of climate issues as they look at public policy, I think that's the most important one. What we have tried to do is identify if there's some particular issues that we want to bring forward. We're working on trying to do that. We're still in a formative stage as a small organization, Virginia chapter, but that's where additional people interested to join would be very helpful. That's sort of a non-answer answer, if you will.
The solar co-op is going strong in Arlington and in Fairfax County too, you know, with people joining together to put solar panels on their roof where it's, you know, where they've got sunshine. I live in Arlington Forest, and it's a little bit harder in Arlington Forest as we have so much tree canopy. But there's a lot of ways you can offset your electrical use anyway.
Okay, do we have any other comments, questions?
I would just like to hear any reactions to this from anybody if we got a minute.
Well, I'm very happy to see, you know, ECA standing up and getting to work. I was not aware of it. So I think what you guys are doing is very important, and hopefully we'll be able to get the ears of the legislators that need to actually make some of these things happen.
Yeah, I think everything helps, and activism, political activism is very, very important. I know a historian who is very educated, and she says nothing can happen without the political activism. Like the marches, they only go so far, but writing and calling your congressman a lot is really important. And so I hope that people can, first, the ones that have no involvement in nature would just enjoy it, because once you enjoy it and love something, you will care for it, they found out. And Doug Tallamy is a really great author whose books are awesome. They're really an easy read, and you can start to enjoy some of the background of the naturalists and the nature in particular. I hope everyone gets
Barbara, what's his last name? How's it spelled?
Tallamy, Tallamy,
Okay.
The book Braiding Sweetgrass has done a lot for the environmental movement. It is so sensitively and beautifully talked about the natural world.
Totally.
Well, that's my cue to plug the upcoming pop-up picnic in the park for the end of the month. So, you know, that's John's not on the call this morning, but he and his wife pick a different Arlington park every month. So it's a chance to go see these parks that you didn't even know existed. all over the county. And I would encourage anybody and everybody on this call to start going to those. They're a lot of fun. And after we eat, if there's a hiking trail, we'll go for a walk in the woods and, just get to know the neighborhood. So.
I'd just like to add a comment about the importance of just speaking up. Contacting any of our elected officials at whatever level, even in terms of expressing your concerns about where actions are. One of our members talked about having heard a presentation, I believe it was by Don Beyer back a few months ago, and saying that as gas prices went up, he was getting thousands of emails and calls and letters saying this was terrible. And he said in the mix of that, he didn't get any letters or calls or whatever about environmental impact of our use of gas vehicles. But he said the gas price that people got excited about. So it's important to have your voice heard on issues. And just an interesting one, just the other day, yesterday, I don't know if you're on Nextdoor, that's that email system that people can make comments in the community. And someone made a comment about spraying for mosquitoes. One of the things that we did, I think this was through the ECA chapter, but I remember a presentation on pollinators. It's not just bees, but there's a whole range of different kinds of wasps and other insects that are so crucial for pollinating trees and plants of all kinds. And just the comment this person made is, when you think about spraying for mosquitoes, please consider that along with the mosquitoes, you're killing a lot of the pollinators that we need in the natural environment. So the idea of maybe having someone from the master gardener kind of perspective talk about those kinds of issues could be very helpful too. I'm not saying you can't spray for mosquitoes. I'm just saying be thoughtful about that in terms of the impact beyond just the mosquitoes.
And consider an electric car. They're amazing.
Yep. Well, anybody else have any reactions, comments on what we've heard today? Oh, I guess not.
I want to say it's a great idea and good luck.
Thank you very much for all this wonderful information.
Thank you very much. I really enjoyed knowing there's another organization out there doing this kind of work. There's never enough organizations. So really appreciate your support out there, and definitely will be in touch.
Great. Join us if you can.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I'll be curious, Gloria, to see whether your membership goes up. If you get a bunch of new Arlington members out of this.
Be great. We welcome all. And you don't have to do a lot. You just do one thing. Just get educated about one more thing, and then you're going to talk to your neighbor about it. I mean, anything helps.
Yeah, and I think we ought to explore how does Arlington Neighborhood Village and ECA, how can we work together in ways that benefit both organizations on an ongoing basis?
That would be wonderful.
Because we're the same demographic. We've got the same interests. So
Yes.
it
Yes.
seems like a natural fit.
Yes.
And we've got another comment. Brava. Thank you, Gloria, in the chat. So.
You're very welcome. Glad to be here.
And I think Dave would be more than happy to have anybody from ECA join us on our Teddy Roosevelt Island walk coming up to, talk about what we're seeing and what's happening. think
All of
that,
our parks are being affected right now, and the naturalists are the ones to point out, how climate change has actually changed the flora and fauna in Arlington,
yep. Well, Dave just responded and he said, yes, indeed. So you are more than welcome to join us or have anybody else come and join us. Because the people that come to those walks are not just A and V, but people from Dave's church men's group and various other organizations that he's a part of. So it's can be a very eclectic mix.
Yeah, if you haven't seen any, a good thing to do is like to get online and look at some of the TED Talks with naturalists. And Susan Simard is particularly good on finding the mother tree. And our plants will exist when we're long gone. Something will be out there. They'll work it all out. They're talking under the soil. It's incredible. They send pheromones in the air even, and they protect the young seedlings. And so important to get a little educated on it. We don't know how, the trees will push north when it's too hot. And so there's a lot of research that needs to be done. And it's really exciting to study it. It really is, because it's so dynamic what's going on right now. So people should get encouraged and read a few environmental books. John Faulkner, who's on this call, is in an environmental book club. It's a non-religious one. And if anyone's interested, they could give me a call too. Barbara, emtmassage@gmail.com. So we meet June 13th next at 4:00. It's 4:00 on a Sunday every 3 months. And we read some environmental book. So anyone's welcome.
Catherine Hayhoe, one of the major environmental scientists, communicator about this, is fond of saying, we keep shouting, save our planet. And she said, the planet is going to be fine. It'll go on. It has such a dynamism. The question is whether the human species and all other living beings will be able to sustain themselves.
Okay, well, I think with that closing comment, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Gloria and Larry, thank you both for taking the time to talk to us today. And I will post our recording on the YouTube channel so that anybody